Samuel
chapter 19, verse 42.
Come on.
And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, because the king is near of kin to us. Wherefore, then be ye angry for this matter. Have we eaten at all of the king's cost, or have he given us any gift?
Come on.
And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah.
And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah. Remember, we read in 2nd Ezra chapter 14, the world's divided to 12 parts, 10 parts already gone. Come on.
And said, we have 10 parts.
What did Israel say?
We have 10 parts.
So Israel knew and said, we have 10 parts in this. Meaning we got 10 of the tribes with us. Y'all only have, at this time, they only had 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin. Come on.
And the king. And we have also more right in David than ye.
Come on.
Why then ye despise us?
Come on.
That our advice should not be first had it bringing us back our king. And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel.
So the words of the men of Judah was fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. All right. But this shows you the component in which the nation, how we was divided off. The northern kingdom of Israel said they had 10 parts. Go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 11.
2nd Ezra chapter 14 and verse 11. And the world is divided into 12 parts.
Come on.
And the 10 parts of it are gone already.
And 10 parts are gone already. Read.
And half of a 10th part.
The half of the 10th part is the Levites. Some of the Levites stayed on the Judah side, some left on the Israel side.
And you can tell you.
Come on, yeah, read it.
Verse 12. And there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part.
And there remaineth that which is after the half of the 10th part. There remains that. Okay? So don't let anybody fool you like the Bible is not speaking in prophecy or actually guiding you in a particular understanding, know what's going on with the tribes. The Most High knew that our nation of people was going to be scattered throughout the whole entire earth. Not just in nestled spots, but those spots are there because the bulk of Israel is there. Bulk of Israel is in pieces.
And that's why when you go to Deuteronomy 28, right? Because we have to go there, because this is basically the scripture that actually have all of us understand that we're Israelites, based on the prophecies. Once again, the prophecies in the Old Testament, we may add. Deuteronomy chapter 28, and something that people have to pay attention to, when it says, we go to 28 and verse 49. And it tells you, the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 49. Okay. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. Now you see, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from afar. As we know, with dealing with the Spanish conquistadors, the Spanish Inquisition, we do know that happened in the 1400s. That's where that's documented, with Columbus and so forth. And then at the 1600s, it came with what else? The Southern Kingdom, right? Read on. From the end of the earth. They came from the Eastern Hemisphere all the way to where never mankind dwelt, which is the Caribbean, right? Read on. As swift as the eagle flies. As we know, Spain, we know Rome, all that. Okay, that identifies who Esau is. That's his symbol. Read on. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. How could we understand their tongue? They spoke a different language, right? Read on. A nation of fierce continence. A nation of fierce continence. This man have no regards of the old or the young. Read on. Which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Now, when you really think about it, let's go to the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 15. It's going to also show you in the book of Baruch. That's why precept must be upon precept, because it's going to say the same thing pretty much. Okay? I mean, they came from the eastern hemisphere to the western hemisphere. Okay?
The book of Baruch, chapter 4, and verse 15.
Yes, sir.
For he hath brought a nation upon them from far.
See, the same way it said in Deuteronomy. He brought a nation from afar. Read on.
A shameless nation.
A shameless nation. Read on.
And of a strange language.
See, here we go again. A strange language, right? Read on.
Who neither reverence old man nor pity child.
Same situation. You're still dealing with the same man. You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with the same man. And you know, and as we know in Isaiah 28:11 says, with stammering lips and another tongue, will I speak to these people, because we were scattered four corners of the earth. So not just the southern kingdom, you had the northern kingdom was scattered on four corners of the earth too.
So back to 2 Ezra chapter 13, verse 45.
Second Ezra chapter 13 and verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half.
And when you do the math, it takes a year and a half to get from that part to the Caribbean. Yes, it's a year and a half sailing.
It's
different about today's time when you're sailing the boat. So sailing.
Yeah.
So they took a year and a half. Read on.
Okay. Of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arsareth.
What region is that? You call it a region. Caribbeans. You're right. That's why I say the same region. The same region. All right. It's the Caribbean. Now, let me see something. Hang on for a second. Let me help y'all out. Let me help some folks out online. I don't know. Where Jake at? Let me see if I can put it up there for y'all. We'll put up. Can you pull that? Let me see that. Let me see that book right there again. Yeah. I just want to prove the point to them. And the brothers can pass this map around.
Hey, can you show the map on
the telestrator?
Yeah, you know what? We probably can. Here it is. Right here. We might get close it up real quick. See if they can see it. Yeah, that's so. For you folks that are watching via Facebook and all this other stuff, we now showing you a excerpt out of a book. This book is probably like older than you, your mama, your granddaddy, and everybody else put together. This is a study done by the Smithsonian. These are people who are not out probablys. They're doing their due diligence. They understood that little map that you see right there, that's all Arawakian territory. That's the Caribbean, the whole map. And they know who the people are. And it's not a coincidence that when they took slaves from Africa, they brought them right back there. This is where the first slaves were from, right back into there. Right there. Then they took and brought them up to Virginia. Now, I wonder why. Now, I wonder why Virginia knew in 1682 they go, nope, these are the same people. Yep. Bethel, grab that book, let some people pass it around. Maybe they can take a look at it. Be very careful with it.
Yeah, that's a gem.
They know who they took when they came and got up.
Yeah, they know exactly who it is. That's why they call Indians mulatto being black. They know. But in that book, I'll post the pictures on this link for y'all. But in that book, they got the Western people that had came to the land by that time. They look strictly like Japhites,
Polynesians,
and they call themselves Sumo. They took the Arwakian people and mixed them with all about because they spread them and mingled their seeds as well. So that's the point. So when somebody looks at it and they go, "Oh, you guys have a chart," you don't know what you're talking about. These people were spread out before the 1600s. Before that, they knew these are not the same. These are different people. Columbus come over here and say, "You know what? Make sure you have somebody that speak Hebrew." You read in other parts and other pieces of scholarship, the people went, "You know what? Wait a minute, they're speaking Hebrew."
The pictures are on Virginia Israelite.
Okay. If you want to see it is on Virginia Israelite page. We'll make sure we post them everywhere for y'all to see it, okay? Because at the end of the day, I don't know how you're gonna fight scholarship. Trinidad, all kind of the whole Arawakian territory, including going all the way up to Cuba, primarily Puerto Rico, Haiti, island Hispaniola, and Cuba. Primarily, these was their lands. And the so-called white man came, and he was met with instant hostility. He was met with instant things. When you read also his excerpts in there that tell you when he started taking other people other than the Arawaks and placing them on the land, the Arawakian was coming in there killing them, separating themselves. Why were they doing that? All right. There's more excerpts to bring out. We're just touching the surface on it to let y'all see, hey, wait a minute. It's more than meets the eyes when you start looking at the tribes. We're saying that who you call the Northern Kingdom of Israel, the so-called blacks and Hispanics whose fathers are Negroid descent. I don't know how you're going to keep a fight scholarship at this point. All right. To really go against the Bible, that's what you're really doing. You're going against God's word. Yeah. We just looking at history. And history has always been right there before people's face. The white man don't own history, man. Not in media reference. How you gonna fight a media reference? They ain't saying possibly Columbus came over here. It's absolute. They're not saying that. They're not saying perhaps 1492. It's definitive. The same slavery, everything. Right there. They had to go through it. Spreading them out all through the Americas on ships. Isn't that a prophecy? Killing them, raping the women, the men then now becoming underneath subjection. We read last night, they're holding their loins. Meaning they have no power. So now as you're reading this, you go, oh, wait a minute, the Bible's a true book. It's saying that they're going to Arsareth, which is a waterway of pain. And it's just not a coincidence that the Caribbeans was a waterway of pain. The so-called white man marched up and down the Caribbean islands, slaughtering, raping, plundering, putting them on plantations and everything. Picking them up, taking them back to Spain, making them work, voyages, everything. Eventually spreading them through North, Central, and South America. All right. Genesis. Let's go to the book of Genesis. Chapter 49. Verse 14.
Genesis chapter 49 and verse 14. Issachar is a strong ass couching down between two burdens.
This is why we know with Issachar, it says he's a strong ass crouching down between two burdens. The two burdens, call it burdens. The two burdens that is between North America, South America. Couching down between two burdens.
Verse 15. And he saw the rest was good.
While
he said, while we see the rest is good. What do they love to do? Take siestas. Rest. So that rest was good, right? And the land that it was pleasant.
And the land was what?
Pleasant.
And the land that it was pleasant. What land? I mean, we talking about land pleasant. Come on.
And bowed his shoulders to bear.
Come on.
And became a servant unto tribute.
It became a servant unto tribute. How do you become a servant unto tribute? The knob.
But when you just brought out that Esau started taking them and dropping them off in different aspects of the America.
I dare you to go and take one peso and try to exchange that thing.
They'll laugh you to scorn. You know how many pesos? Did anyone know how many pesos it take to make $1?
Somebody Google it. Let me see some Google scholars.
Oh, I'm about to say it.
See what it might have dropped down now.
It was 1,300. How many pesos take to make $1?
1954.
It was 1,300 20 years ago. They must have. How much is it again?
19 pesos and 54 cents make $1. It was $1,300.
No. Excuse me. Maybe I was wrong. You said 19 pesos.
19 and a half pesos.
Okay. I got my mind twisted up. Okay. 19 pesos. Okay.
So, but you got to realize something. Why is that? Yeah, I mean, why is that money? Why is their money worth so less here?
They led by
They're under tribute, right? They're under tribute. In order for your money to inflate like that, you have to have a lot of crooked things happening. It does not work that much. There's a lot of things happening that's crooked. They're under tribute. This is why in that country people trying to escape, go other places. Okay, and you brothers and sisters, man, those who are of Issachar, you really know what we're talking about. That's oppression. People think because they have their own land. No, they don't. They don't. Mexico is not for them. They're in that land underneath tribute, man. They're oppressed over there. People trying to leave. I don't know how many people have been to Mexico, but I've been to Mexico a gang of times. It ain't nice. You lose your life quick. Well, this is being recorded live. I dare somebody to say something.
They just did
It's bad.
They just did in the trucking industry. I pretty much know about that. They have a situation in Mexico where a lot of truckers are being kidnapped. They're being kidnapped because of the cargo that's coming into Mexico. Because these people see all the materials coming into Mexico, they're kidnapping truckers and taking the cargo what they have, because these people are just deplorable right now.
Well, I'm gonna say this: if you don't think that they're underneath any type of curses, then you're blind. Yep. Then you're blind. They're getting killed in the streets. The Northern Kingdom is underneath heavy curses. Matter of fact, you go into these South America where they're at, and it's bad. You may lose your life, man. Yep. Shout out to you brothers over there, like Honduras, all the places. You know what I'm saying? We got brothers right now with the organization that's in Nicaragua. Yeah. It's asking, may God forgive me, I gotta carry an AK. Yeah. What do I do? Questions come in, what do I do? I have to carry this for protection. What do I do? Do I keep carrying it or do I put it down? What's the advice? What advice you gonna give a brother? He in there, it's like Beirut.
Yeah.
He in there He in there is like that. Nobody caring about what they're doing. Esau going over to these countries, doing all type of wickedness and everything, causing chaos.
Yep.
They send you a message and ask you, yo, what should I do? I'm carrying my AK. Is that bad or is that good? What do you do? What do I need to do? I got a family, you know, I'm trying to work, but it's hard out here. I gotta carry this.
But they may kidnap my family because I got money, especially if you got family here sending money back to these countries, because that's what people understand. When this immigration stuff pops off and they threaten to take these people's children as to deter them from coming here and put them in a detention center. Some of the people have money that they have sent back to their countries, and you know, let's say your family member get their money. They're going to have to have an AK to protect his family. That's a curse, man. That's a
straight curse.
It's a straight curse.
You can't tell a person. You can't. We can give you counsel according to where we're at. You can counsel all day. Right. You don't counsel a man that's over there in that type of situation. So you have to realize there's curses involved. That becomes now on the level of faith for that person. You gotta have some type of faith and belief what we're doing. You know, that's why we keep telling these computer Israelites, right, these Google Israelites. You sit on a computer, you're a computer Israelite. We're telling you, nah, man, it's supposed to the ground. It's real serious out here. You know, nobody want you're a computer elder, giving guidance in the comfort of your home. You in Superman drawers, eating Fruit Loops, playing video games. Right. But you're an elder. Right. Give me a break. Don't even know half of it.
I was just say call him Microsoft in Israel.
Microsoft in Israel. You know, while you have to, while people is really, really, really dependent on this movement. All right. Ecclesiasticus. Chapter 18. And verse 7. Start verse 6.
Okay. Ecclesiasticus chapter 18 verse 6. As for the wondrous works of the Lord.
As for the wondrous works of the Lord. Like some of the stuff, when you look at it, you like, man, the Most High preserved Israel through all of that chaos. Come on.
There may nothing be taken from them.
There may nothing be taken from them. You can't understand the height of how the Most High works, man. Come on.
And neither may anything be put under them, unto them.
Unto them, come on.
Neither can the ground of them be found out.
Yeah, you can't even begin to dig it out, man. That's miraculous what the Most High has done. To preserve a nation of disobedient people in the midst of captivity that will be destroyed and scattered about everywhere, but to preserve them through all that chaos and then raise them back up. Read.
Verse 7, when a man have done, then he beginneth, and when he leaveth off, then he shall be doubtful.
Uh-oh, come on.
What is man?
What is man? Come on.
And whereto serveth he?
What is the purpose that the Most High has created man? If it's not for the Most High pleasure, what are you created for? You're a preacher. Everybody's playing their parts, man. Some people are playing the parts of the righteous. Others are playing the part of the wicked. Read.
What is his good?
What is his good? Come on.
And what is his evil?
And what is the evil? Come on.
The number of a man's days at the most are 100 years.
Come on.
As a drop of water into the sea.
So we're speaking of things 700 BC, 700 years before Christ. It's hundreds of years, thousands of years has passed, and you looking at people going, "Oh, that's not Israelites," because you're looking at looks. Thousands of years has passed of Israelites being disobedient. You're a fool. Read.
And a gravel stone in comparison of the sand.
In comparison to of the sand. A gravel stone in comparison to the sand. Somebody got to be realizing what's being said. Come on.
So are 1,000 years to the days of eternity.
So are 1,000 years to the days of eternity. Nothing. So the Most High can sit back and have his time to go forward. And while things manifest and create, you looking at things from your point of view, from your minuscule life and little bitty time on this earth. You better stick by as it is written. Job, book of Job. Chapter 24, verse 1.
The book of Job, chapter 24, verse 1. Why seeing times are not hidden from the Almighty?
Times is not hidden from the Almighty. Read.
Do they that know him not see his days?
Do them that know him not see his days? Come on.
Verse 2. Some remove the landmarks.
Read that again.
Some remove the landmarks.
That's a sin right there. This is why we don't have certain things. Shouldn't you have, if a man had his lineage and he said, I'm going to put this landmark here. This rock right here is going to be stable. It's going to stand right there as a symbol of my heritage. And the Lord said, don't never remove this man's landmark. But now you come back, it's gone. Chaos, confusion now. Because we don't know who that's for. That's just a blank land now. Read.
They violently take away flocks.
They finally take away flocks. Come on.
And feed thereof.
And feed thereof. Feed on them. Come on.
They drive away the ass of the fatherless. They take the widow's ox for a pledge.
Is anybody realizing what's being said? Who's the widow? Israel the widow. They say take away his ox. An ox knows his own right. So that means it has a what? It has remembrance. If it knows its owner, it has remembrance. And you take away the widow ox, man. What do you take away? Who they are. Come on.
Verse 4. They turn the needy out of the way.
Come on.
The poor of the earth hide themselves together.
The poor of the earth hide themselves together. What that mean, JD? That's it. The poor hide themselves together. We're hidden together. You can't separate Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom. You can't go, oh, you know what? All of these are Negroes. Okay, so what? Now what? They still part of the tribes. Just told you. We just read it. 1682 Act, Virginia Act. Congratulations. Breathe.
Verse 5. Behold, as wild asses in the desert, go they forth to their work.
Come on.
Rise in betimes for a prey, for the wilderness. The
wilderness
yielded food for them and for their children.
Uh-oh. It shows you, man, a lot of things are done and compromised because people had families, people had different things to go about in their life other than the Most High's words. And it caused chaos. It's causing us now to be in our predicament. We're in a predicament because we went away from the Most High's words. Period. Nothing else. John 10. Keep pulling this. Yep. John 10 and 16.
The book of St. John, chapter 10, verse 16. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold.
You had Judah, Benjamin, half of Levi in one fold, 10 tribes in the other. Christ is showing you he's with the southern kingdom right here. He came to the Jews first, the southern kingdom. Read.
Them also I must bring.
Them also I must bring. I got to bring these other sheep, which are not of Judah, Benjamin, and half of Levi. I got to bring other sheep, which are not of this fold.
And they shall hear my voice.
Come on.
And there shall be one fold.
And there should be now one fold. We call them Israelites. Even though we're saying it's 12 tribes, doesn't mean everybody in those locations where the bulk of Israel is at, it does not mean that all of them are Israelites at all. What it's showing you is that the true Israelites are going to hear his voice. The bulk of Israel that's in the Americas, in the Caribbean, South America, Africa, Abu Dhabi, Europe, wherever you at, you're going to hear the voice and go, oh, you know what? I'm an Israelite. I need to come back. The bulk of the tribes are what we are putting up to call that's that ensign we're saying come back. But how do you know that this is so the most perfect will of God? Because if you was in Africa, you know that who had you in captivity? What I'm saying is you have to realize the state of captivity of what happened. The British came, took some folks. The English came. The Spanish came. The French came. By those captivities, if you are over in other lands, the French took you over into Europe. What do you think you are? The British took you over into Europe. What do you think you are? What could you identify with? Being a slave. By whatever group of people took you into captivity. In the Caribbean, a lot of British. Maybe a Benjamin. They took Judah, you may be Judite. The Spanish took people and brought them to Cape Verdean Islands. Back and forth through to the Dominican Republic to Brazil. These are all documented. Your family may be scattered somewhere else, all over the place, and you don't even know it. Family members from everywhere. Right now, so-called Africans, Western banks, trying to escape oppression, they're still being seized into slavery. Fitting the prophecies. You're still living in biblical times. The book of Acts, chapter 5, verse 29. We got to close out.
The book of Acts, chapter 5, and verse 29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we ought to obey God rather than man.
We're going to obey the Most High rather than man, of course. We got part 1 of this. Y'all can go over there and grab that. All right, add that with part 2. Lord's will, we give all praises to the Most High in Christ for allowing us to understand the scriptures a little bit. Y'all folks continue to study. We're not bringing out everything. We're not going to bring everything out via online. We're going to do it for those who are really sincere and trying to learn. All right. We're not going to do anything for you internet and Facebook elders. Okay? It's only for the real boys to put in the real work. All right? Hit these streets. Boots to the ground. All right? And if you don't like that, all praises to the Most High in Christ. We're doing something right. With that, we say shalom.
Shalom. Shalom. All right, everybody. As y'all know,